After almost 30 years in business, this slender woman still keeps her passion for a job that many people deem arduous and challenging. People see in her abundant energy and optimism. Her decisions in business are always clear, practical, and effective. 30 years of doing business. This is more than enough time for her to understand the hardship involved in this profession, which rarely favors women. During this time, she has discovered and proved her ability. The ambitions of her youth have been fulfilled, but today, she's still following her own dreams and endeavors. It is not difficult to meet Phan Thủy Mai, the chairwoman of the board of directors and CEO of Anfat Investment and Tourism Joint Stock Company, because she spends most of time at this tourism complex. Located in Mê Linh district in Hanoi, by the National Highway number 23, the 79 Spring Hill Tourism Complex is becoming an increasingly well-known destination. The first phase of construction has been finalized, with parts of the complex now in operation. Things have gone well, much to the delight of Phan Thủy Mai. Mai has arranged to meet us at the Angkor Ho statue, a very special structure in the complex. She tells us about the origin of this monument. In 1971, 2 years after Angkor Ho passed away, the people of Yên Lãng district, Vĩnh Phúc province donated their bronze utensils to cast the statue. Since then, masses of people have come here to pay respect to the beloved leader of the nation. After 40 years, the Angkor Ho memorial site has weathered badly. When Phan Thủy Mai assumed responsibility for the project, the first thing she did was to have the site renovated. The old roof was made with lime and straw. A corner of it was about to collapse. The cement path leading up to the statue was also broken. Eucalyptus trees line both sides of the path, but I thought it would be nicer to have some evergreen plants here. I picked 2 species that Angkor Ho really like, the hibiscus and the pomegranate. The flowers have a beautiful and red color. Angkor Ho lived for 79 years. Those 79 years will forever be remembered by the Vietnamese.
Là tình yêu thiết tha nhất trong lòng dân và trong trái tim nhân loại. Cả cuộc đời bác chăm lo cho hạnh phúc nhân dân. Cả cuộc đời bác hy sinh cho dân tộc Việt Nam. Bác thương các cụ già xuân về gửi biếu lụa, bác yêu đàn cháu nhỏ chúng thu gửi cho quà. Bác thương đoàn dân công đêm nay ngủ ngoài giường, bác thương người chiến sĩ đứng ra ngoài biên cương. Bác viết thư thăm hỏi gửi muôn vàn yêu thương. Bác viết thư thăm hỏi gửi muôn vàn tình thương.
Về di tích Bác Hồ thì tôi đi nhiều, khắp nước thì đi nhiều, nhưng mà riêng ở
I've seen many Angkor Ho monuments, but this is the first time coming here, so it was rather emotional for me. I hope that this place will become a great tourist destination and that future generations will follow Angkor Ho's teachings. This place is beautiful. I've come to visit the monument and pay respect to Angkor Ho. I hope that he will bless me with great success in the future. In 2003, Phan Thuy Mai visited Mê Linh for the first time. She was immediately captivated by the rich tradition of this area, which was once the realm of the legendary Chung sisters. After a visit to the Angkor Ho statue on the 79th Spring Hill, Mai came up with the idea to turn this area into a tourism complex. It would blend cultural, spiritual, and ecotourism. The highlight of the complex would remain the Angkor Ho monument. Her decision was well-timed. It coincided with the government's policy to allow companies and organizations to invest in and manage cultural buildings. And so, the 79th Spring Hill project came into being. The complex would cover 97.4 hectares and require over $30 million in investment. When we initiated the community-based management of the site, it met with lots of difficulties. Many people didn't like the idea that a private company would manage this historical site. So, we made it clear that the site would still belong to the public and that management should lie in the hands of experts. The project has since proved to be a success. Right after being given to the go-ahead, Phan Thuy Mai began to execute the project. She had to start from scratch with the infrastructure, since the Angkor Ho statue was the only structure in the area at that time, and it had been partly ruined by the weather. The rest was a desolated area, unsuitable for agriculture. Many people could not understand why Phan Thuy Mai decided to invest in the project. She was running a stable business in Ho Chi Minh City and several other southern provinces. Apart from a garment factory with 2,000 workers, she also owned a wig factory with 1,000 workers and various real estate projects. Oh Chi-hoon is a South Korean entrepreneur who has been in Vietnam for nearly 20 years. During this period of time, he has partnered with Phan Thuy Mai in her garment and wig businesses. With his support, Phan Thuy Mai set up the first wig factory in Vietnam and found success in the clothing industry in the 1990s with the brand Toàn Thắng. Today, the wig factory still operates. 100% of the output is exported to the United States. Phan Thuy Mai then expanded the production by setting up a factory in the north of Vietnam. The factory, located in the Quang Minh Industrial Park, provides 450 jobs. The 20 years of friendship has given Oh Chi-hoon a strong impression of Phan Thuy Mai's resilience.
About 20 years ago, in 1994, I come to Vietnam to start to do business. At the time, I know her because I lent her house. Her character is, very, strong, and then for the business, she understands, so fast. For the international business, in the beginning, in Vietnam, some people don't understand, import, export, international business 20 years ago, but she understands, easy. That's why, we did until now together.
Phan Thuy Mai recalls that on the first day of surveying, she did feel somewhat lost and worried, standing in the middle of the desolate grassland. She wondered where she should start and whether she would be able to follow through her plans. Sometimes she even doubted the real benefits of her project. Her minds were filled with questions. You are originally from the northern Vietnam, but you built your own successful business in the south. What made you decide to invest in Mê Linh? Around 2002, doing business in Ho Chi Minh City became difficult. Back then, I was the only exporter of wigs, and I had to recruit workers from faraway provinces, for example from Quảng Trị, Thừa Thiên Huế, and Đà Lạt. I came up with the idea to open a factory in the north and recruit local workers. So when I came here in 2003, it was not to build a tourism complex, but actually to set up a factory. At that time, there was virtually no entertainment center in Hanoi, while there were a lot of tourism complexes around Ho Chi Minh City. So I thought it would be great to build one here, even though I didn't know where to begin. Many people showed interest in this project, but none of them was able to pursue it. But as a woman, you have succeeded. What made you so determined? The head of the provincial authority back then told me himself that I was a brave person. Prior to me, he had offered the project to 7 male businessmen. But they didn't dare to take up the offer because a cemetery lay opposite the site. I remember that after the land was cleared, a number of discontented locals vandalized my office. Luckily, I was at Ho Chi Minh City at that time. When I came back, I couldn't stop crying when I saw what they had done. But I told myself, don't let their misunderstanding stop you from accomplishing something. That has always been my life philosophy. The past 10 years don't seem long at all because I love my job. I've witnessed how the project advances day by day. I would be happy to see this place flourish. It would be like a dream coming true. Step by step, her dream is coming true. The 79 Spring Hill Tourism Complex has become a popular destination for many visitors, particularly students and young people. Phan Thuy Mai has been really clever to blend elements of spiritual tourism into this eco-tourism complex. The highlight remains the Angkor Wat monument, but various other structures with spiritual values have been erected within the complex. Phan Thuy Mai made sure that each structure is placed in a peaceful and green environment. While executing this project, Phan Thuy Mai always respects the historical values of the area. She understands the do's and don'ts in life. That's why she has made a lot of efforts to preserve and restore the historical and spiritual structures here. Phan Thuy Mai was one of the biggest donors to the construction of the Linh Ẩn Pagoda. This pagoda, situated on a hill in the complex, is modeled after the old Sùng Ân Pagoda.
Ngôi chùa này thì theo quan điểm thì đã có từ
The Sùng Ân Pagoda was built under the reign of Emperor Trần Nhân Tông, but was destroyed, leaving only some traces.
tàn phá nhưng còn để lại những cái dấu ấn, dấu tích.
It was destiny when Phan Thuy Mai got permission from the local authorities to examine a nearby river, because that's where she found 3 wraps made of precious timber buried in the riverbed. They date back to the hundreds of years ago. The wraps pointed to the location of the pagoda. Miss Mai used to be a pupil of the Venerable Hai Chiu Am, so she understands what it takes to build a Buddhist pagoda. It's her wish for the Linh Ẩn Pagoda to become a place for people to learn and improve themselves. The first phase of the project, which covers 18 hectares, has been completed. Standing on the top of a hill and looking at the peaceful green surroundings, one can appreciate the vision of Phan Thuy Mai. She was prudent to have an integrated plan from the start. According to the plan, the first phase is devoted to the spiritual buildings and the planting of about 20,000 trees across the area. A highlight in the Caribbean pine forest, which spans several hectares. The trees supply the whole complex with fresh air. Currently, the second phase of the project is underway. It sees the construction of modern buildings, including villas, luxurious resorts, shopping centers, office blocks, etc. For this, Phan Thuy Mai has hired experts from Side Asia, a French company specializing in urban planning, to design the buildings. I'm very lucky to work with Miss Mai. She is such an energetic and smart woman. What impresses me the most about her is that even though the scale of the project is huge, Miss Mai always understands and respects the designs of our architects. This is really important, as it allows us to explore new ideas and be productive. Of course, we have debates from time to time, but we work really well together, and things are going smoothly. The planning phase is very important to any project. Something I've learned about planning is that investors need architects who know how to do their job well. In the first 3 years of this project, I paid 2 architectural firms to design the project. The designs had to be changed twice and eventually discarded. Luckily, I discovered Patrick's firm in late 2005. I told Patrick my idea on the landscape, and 1 month later, he showed me his designs. I was really happy because they were exactly what I wanted. During the past 10 years, Phan Thuy Mai has followed her dreams resiliently. In terms of time, 1/3 of her career has been devoted to this project. In terms of effort, however, it is hard to measure the energy that she has spent on the project during all those years. Perhaps her greatest joy is to have done her job with passion, thereby fulfilling her dreams and doing a lot of meaningful deeds. Phan Thuy Mai is a dedicated person with a good sense of judgment. She realized the beauty of the spring hill and knew how to make it even more attractive. I think she was right to integrate the Angkor Ho monument into the whole ecotourism complex. It brings a visit to the site to a whole new level. Even though Phan Thuy Mai is an entrepreneur, she's also rather politically minded. She wants to promote Vietnamese tradition and the teachings of Angkor Ho. Our economy is going through a difficult time, with the real estate sector deep in a crisis. Has the crisis affected the business of An Phát Joy Stock Company? Every company suffers in one way or another. The fate of a company depends on the agility of the CEO. It's fortunate that I have stable revenue from my business in Ho Chi Minh City. I haven't sold anything in the complex. But when the real estate market was still busy, some investors offered me $30 million for the whole complex, but I didn't want to sell. I knew that all the senseless trading had to stop at one time and that the market would again cater to the real demand. Based on your own experience, what do you think about the proposed solutions to unfreeze the real estate market? Even if banks are ready to lend tens of millions of dollars, many people just can't afford the houses and apartments. My opinion is that we have to tackle the root of the problem first. We need to create jobs and boost production. People will then afford new housing. The macroeconomic solutions are only temporary. They are not sustainable. With a university degree in finance and 30 years of experience in business, Phan Thuy Mai has gathered enough knowledge and valuable lessons to help her make good investment choices. She plans her moves carefully on the current project. From the very start, she has wanted to turn this complex into a prominent tourist destination in northern Vietnam.